Hello, this is Russ Tanner from Global Skywatch, and this is Global Skywatch Radio. It is January 25th, 2016, and tonight we're going to chat. We're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We've had technical problems for the first hour to the point where we haven't even been able to communicate most of the time. So we're just going to be informal about this and talk about what you want to talk about. Who's on the phone line? And let's see if we can hear you.
It's Steve Chamberlain in Alaska, Russ.
Steve, it's great to hear from you. What's going on up there in Alaska?
Well, it's warmer than it should be again. 3 years in a row that it's been like this in January. Very little snow. The spruce trees are looking real thin. Needles are, every year they just get thinner and thinner looking. So, and then there's a lot more of these common murres dropping. I mean, they haven't been dropping as much lately, but there are a lot more of these birds dead than the media's willing to report on. Initially, they reported about these birds a month or so ago. One guy found, he estimated 8,000 dead murres in 1 mile of beach down in Valdez. But there's been reports that I've heard, not through the news, but through individuals, of thousands and thousands, maybe 100,000 of these birds dead. So, and they're all starving. So what does that tell you? It tells you the ocean's dying. And we all know when the ocean dies, we die.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
It's clearly happening. This is a massive, massive seabird die-off. Some of these birds were found as far as Denali Park in the middle of Alaska. These are seabirds that do not do this type of thing. They live on the water. They can only take off from water. So once they go down inland, they're done. It's over for them because they need the water to get off the ground or to get in the air. And one of our mushers up here, a dog musher, Jeff King, was out running his dogs in Denali Park, came across one of these birds, and him and his friend that he was with thought they had found a penguin, and they were kind of laughing and joking and saying, "Look, we found a penguin." There's a video on it. Look up Jeff King penguin and search that. You'll see a 30-second video. It's ridiculous that people aren't catching on to what's going on, what's happening to our planet. These birds shouldn't be there, period. And then when they are, people should be completely alarmed. But they're making little jokes and funny videos about it.
Yeah, isn't it?
Really, really sad. So.
Yeah, it is amazing to me.
That's what's happening up here. The collapse is evident. Economic collapse is coming right there with it. It's all coming together. So I hope people are getting as prepared as they can be. That's what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm preparing for exactly, but I'm going to be more prepared than the next guy.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be. I do agree there are a lot. I think 2016 is going to be a very significant year. You know, I look at this, you know, one of my favorite things to study is to understand what the elite are thinking, what their religion is, what they believe, because that gives you an awful lot of insight about what their plans are. And for reasons I talked about in our last show, which was weeks ago, 2017 and 2019 are absolute key years for them. And I could probably get into that a little later if you want to. Since we've had so many technical problems, this is we're just kind of winging it right now. So, but so what else? What are you doing to prepare, Steve? Is there anything in particular?
Well, food. Making sure that I have a hand pump for my well, so we can always have water. Storing food, drying food. As you know, I run a pizza place here. I use my pizza place to get the word out. Use pizza boxes with labels. I've met some new friends that are helping me out with supplying me with labels, color labels that I can stick on the boxes. But what I was getting to there was that I use my pizza ovens on the weekends when I'm closed as food dehydrators. So I'm dehydrating potatoes, and carrots, and celery, and onions, masses of it.
That's awesome. What a great idea.
You can do it in your own oven at home, but these pizza ovens are huge. And with the pilot light on, it's perfect. Runs about 105 to 110 degrees. And so I'm stocking up on food, making sure I have water. there's plenty of firewood for a long time. The forest is dying, so, I mean, at least there's plenty of firewood until it all dies and rots. So I'm not too worried about keeping my family warm with firewood. I've got that.
Now, dehydrating food is a great way to go because the food stores for a really, really long time. And
yeah, 20 years, maybe more.
Yeah, and it can take up very, very small space.
A buddy of mine was eating Y2K beans last year.
What's that?
A buddy of mine said he ate some of his Y2K beans. Those 15-year-old beans last year he ate them.
Yeah, dehydrated, right?
Well, yeah, just dried beans. He had them in a bucket, sealed tight. 15 years old, and he's eating these beans, and they're fine. So you can do that with just about any dried food. Potatoes, carrots. I say people should buy rice, big bags, go to Costco, fill your closet with it.
Yeah. Plus, you mentioned a water pump. That's a hand pump. Getting a source of water, especially if you live in the city or the suburbs, that's going to be real difficult.
Well, what you're going to want then is a filtration, a way to filtrate at least your drinking water. So have a couple of filter cartridges or some types of life straw or something. If you live in the city, I live in the country. I have my own well that runs on electricity. But if we don't have electricity, I bought a hand pump for a few $100, and I just pump my own water right out of my well. So I urge people, if you don't, you have to look at it differently, depending on where you live. If you have city water, and look what's happening in Flint. I used to live in Michigan. I grew up there. That whole state the lower part of that state is heavily polluted from the industry. The water will never be good again, not in a long, long time. So people need to find ways to drink clean water. The governments there in Michigan lied to people for, looks like several years, especially in the last year and a half. They told these people the water was fine, drink it. And they lied to them. They knew it wasn't. So this is the mindset we're dealing with. They're going all out to kill us from whatever angle. Filling the rivers with toxic waste from mines, EPA. All of this stuff's done on purpose now. People are clearly psychopaths, and they're trying to destroy everything. And it seems like it's ramping up. It's all starting to ramp up.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of the die-offs, whether it's whales or birds or fish in the oceans, it seems like the newspapers and the media covers like the first little blurb of it. They never want to follow up with the real picture of what happened. Like the common murre die-off here, they stopped after the first reports. They keep sticking with that 7,800 in a mile. They don't want to tell us what's around the point or what's out on that island, how many birds are dead. So they just stop at a certain point, and they don't want to tell the rest. It's like Fukushima. It was big news when it happened. But when does the media tell us about Fukushima lately? What have they told us?
Exactly.
Nothing. And it's pretty insane. And people are waking up, but then on the other hand, this cognitive dissonance, the normalcy bias is very powerful. I mean, you can even, like I said, it's so powerful that the first time I saw these trails, I knew something was terribly wrong, and it scared me. Just really, really scared me. So I went into denial for 6 years. I didn't look up above my hat. And that's how powerful it is. I knew something was wrong for 6 years, and I didn't even investigate. So.
Yeah, it's tough, because when most of the population has not done any research to understand how deeply corrupt government has become. And so to make this leap that they would actually spray the people, you have to jump several steps very quickly in understanding what's really going on, and it's really hard for people to do.
They get more dangerous the more scared they get. And the more of us that wake up and start screaming about what's going on, the more scared they get, the more dangerous they get, the more stupid stuff they do. It's easy to follow. It's easy to look at what's happening. That's why people maybe don't want to wake up, because they see it that way. They say, well, if we all wake up, they're just going to go crazy on us and throw it all at us at once. That's what it has to come to. The collapse has to happen for this madness to stop. And the collapse may come when they go totally out of control with their whatever they're doing, poisoning our waterways, poisoning our air, poisoning our oceans. But maybe that's why people don't want to wake up. They truly see what's happening. They know they can't say anything because they feel that they'll contribute to the whole thing. And that's kind of the way it works, though. It looks like it. It sure looks like it to me. Because the more people wake up over the last 2 years that I've been fighting to wake people up, in the last 2 years, I've seen the spraying increase a massive amount. And the manipulation of the weather and the progression of the destruction. I see it. I'm watching it happen before my eyes for the last 2 years. So it is kind of scary to know that the more people I wake up, the worse it gets. Yeah, that's scary. But then on the other hand, I know it has to happen. If we're going to go about it this way and use this critical mass to stop it, we have to build our mass, and they're going to build their craziness until it finally does cease. So that's another reason why you want to prepare.
Yeah.
If you can. I just use baking soda every day. It's about the only thing I do, but it seems to help with my sinuses and my itchy watered eyes, and I do a little bit of baking soda every night, half a teaspoon with water. I've been doing that for about a year now. There's other ways people are talking about. We have some native grasses here. Horsetail has a lot of silica in it. I haven't tried using any yet, but
I just took horsetail about 2 hours ago. I take it in capsule form. Yeah. Good.
Horsetail.
Yeah.
Well, it grows here in Alaska pretty prolific, and if it is a good source to chelate and get these metals out of your body, I've got plenty of it here. So if it does ramp up, it may be something I'll work on doing, because there's a lot of it here. But we just have to be ready. These people are crazy, out of control, powerful people, and the more we like I said, the more we expose them, the more dangerous they're going to be. But there's really no way around that unless somebody has a better way to stop this spraying, which a lot of us we just can't talk about. A lot of us have radical ideas on how to stop this. I've talked to a few people myself over the last 2 years, and I'd like to see it come to an end. It doesn't matter how, but right now I have to go with the narrative that I'm being told by people that I trust, that we have to work hard to wake people up and it'll stop. And that's the only thing I know right now. So
yeah, we're kind of in a situation where these people who control this, and I call them industrialists. They're ones who own and control the large industry of the world. They're the merchants of the earth. They're the large, very powerful industrialists, and we know their names. They took over governments. That's naturally what an industrialist will want to do, because if you can control government, you can control regulation, you can generate a tremendous cash flow, you can make sure that there's no opposition to your business, so you're protecting your assets, and also the government creates tremendous cash flow for the military-industrial complex. So they've taken over the countries of all the countries in the world. Forgive me for talking a little funny. This is a situation here where I'm listening to myself about half a second delayed in headphones, and it's a really hard thing to do when you're on a microphone. But
that is tough.
Yeah, so it's a little funny. It makes me talk a little funny. But anyway, they control all the countries of the world, and so we're left in a situation right now where, let's say everybody in the United States woke up and we cleaned government and we were able to get the industrialists out, they would just have Russia and China attack the United States because they control those countries. In fact, that's part of the plan, is to have the first war on American soil. There's going to be, I believe, a limited strike by these countries. I've been saying this for years, for many years, at least 2 decades, because it was planned far in advance. And I don't think, I think it's good for people to realize that the industrialists who are doing this are scared. They are very arrogant. They have to be. They have to have a show of power among themselves. But there's a lot of fear going on in their own ranks, because if things don't go right, they're going to end up being in a lot of trouble from the populace. But the problem we have now is if we wanted to free ourselves from this problem, we would have to have all the countries of the world, or all the large countries anyway, purge their governments at the same time. And there's very little chance that that will be able to happen. So, like you said, we're in for a very rough ride, I believe. Still there?
Yeah, I believe we are in for a rough ride. The rough ride's already started. I mean, look at what's falling from the sky. Even here, we have this snow that's it's like fake snow. It doesn't even melt, and it stays granular all the time. Even when it falls from the sky, it's a granular snow. I haven't seen a snowflake in years. I've been looking every winter for the past at least two winters now, looking at snowflakes. Every time they fall, they aren't flakes anymore.
Yeah.
Not natural.
No, it's not natural. Plus, the snow is binding together very unnaturally, so you're getting these weird artifacts where snow will fall off a car in sheets, or in some places they've had these enormous snowflakes that are probably a centimeter in diameter, which is really strange. I've seen some of these artifacts here. Plus, the snow smell. For sensitive people like myself, I can smell the snow, and of course I can taste the chemtrails in the air as well, which most people cannot, but a lot of people, and hundreds of people have contacted me who do. But if you, Madison Star Moon, who is a popular person who's exposing this, has a video that came out recently. She's in Virginia, I believe. She took some snow, and I wish more people would do this and show people the particulates that are in that snow. And I agree with you. I think that our snow is laced very heavily with polymers, so they're artificially controlling these snowfalls, often at temperatures where you never would have had snow in the past.
Yeah, I've taken fresh snow, snow that fell just within the last couple of hours, picked it up in a clean white bucket and let it melt. And there's a layer of this stuff on the bottom. This snow it should be pure. It should be pure and clean.
What does that stuff look like?
Just like what everybody's seeing, little fibers, just little chunks and shards of, I don't know what it is. It's hard to could be anything.
Yeah.
But little fibrous pieces. Same thing with my flashlight. I've done the same thing. People have held their flashlights out and let the high-powered flashlight and let the stuff collect on the lens, and you can see it. If you get a magnifying glass, you can see these fibers. Most of them look black to me, but that's what they look like.
Right. Yeah, I see. For those of you who are watching the live stream, I just saw the live stream say that the broadcast ended. I don't know why it's giving me that message, and now I can't refresh. Live stream, I don't know what it is, but this last year I've had no problems with it in the early days. It was just smooth and perfect, and now it's just one thing after another. I don't know why this is happening. Wow, I can't even get the chat room to come up. Goodness. Wow. I might have to find another solution to try to stream. Well, I hope others... Is there anyone else who has the live stream working on their computer who's on the phone?
I've got show ended as well. It may have chosen the 10 o'clock time slot to end the show. Was it on a timer?
Oh, that's a very good point.
Because that's my guess, because when the event's created and when it's expected to end, it's just going to end it, and that's going to be it, and then you'll have to create a new event. I had to do that a few times.
That is weird. Never used to do that, so it just it forces the show to end. Steve, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Anything else you want to share with us while you're on with us here?
No, that's about it. I love your show, and I hope you don't mind me calling when when you're on the air. I really like to get on the air and tell people what's happening here in Alaska. We had a big earthquake the other night, too.
Yeah, what about that? Everybody's saying that the news isn't talking about it. Did you feel anything, or what do you know about that?
Oh, yeah, it was 50 miles away. The center of it was about 55 miles southwest of where I live. We got shook, the biggest shaker I've ever felt in my life.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, lots of stuff off the shelves. No major damage to my house, but there were 4 homes that were destroyed by gas explosions in Kenai, which is 20 minutes from where I live.
Oh.
So,
it
was
sorry.
a big one, but it wasn't, from what I can tell, it hasn't done a lot of damage. Those gas leaks and explosions were one thing, but yeah, it was a big shaker. It was a scary one, scariest one I've ever felt. So.
Now, have you done any research as to what may have caused that, or is it just a natural event, or do you think that's something that they're doing?
Well, it's probably a little bit of everything, from fracking to the planet heating, which it is. The ice is disappearing. The way the water moves around this planet, it's all changing. So the Earth has always been changing. So it's hard to say. Maybe frequencies are triggering it. Obviously, there's frequency in our sky every day. I would say the constant.
Yeah, you see those patterns in the clouds, right, where you have
yes, there's
the
a
ripples.
lot of ribbed clouds. A lot of the stuff that they spray up there in a short period of time will turn into ribs, turn into waves. It's like sand dunes in the sky.
Right, and
here
what I've seen a lot of is I've heard the harp hum. But go ahead, say what you're going to say. I'm sorry.
I do hear the hum here. Not as much as I'm hearing from other places around the planet, around the globe, but I have heard it at certain times. Actually, not this winter, last winter, I heard it really clear, and it sounded a lot like what I'm hearing on people's videos that they're posting of these strange sounds, almost like trumpets in the distance in the sky. So I've heard that before.
Really?
And there is a lot of industry around here, so sometimes I think it may be just a big piece of steel being dragged across something, or so it does make me wonder what I'm hearing. But I don't know exactly how all that works. It's all pretty scary stuff. It makes sense that it's happening because you can see the effects of it on the clouds or on the particulates. Whatever they're putting up there, they definitely can form it into different shapes. Put it together, blow it apart.
Yeah,
that may be creating some of these sounds we're hearing. I'm not 100% sure on that, but does it really matter?
I can give you some helpful information about the earthquakes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I listened to Dutch. I watched Dutch Sense on YouTube.
Yep.
He hasn't posted anything yet on this, but
right now, I've got a current earthquake map up, and I've been watching Alaska for 3 months, and I'm seeing increased earthquakes along the coastal region. And right now, I just counted 47 earthquakes today.
Wow.
That is unbelievable. And I've been watching these earthquakes for quite a long time, and I've just never seen... I was seeing between a dozen and 2 dozen a day, but now it's literally 4 times that much. This is really disturbing.
This one that we just had was centered about 70 plus miles deep. So it was a really deep earthquake. Wow. If it would have been close to the surface, we probably would have had a lot more damage.
Holy cow. I'm looking at Anchor Point, 3.1, 3.0. A lot of 3.1s in Anchor Point. And
there'll be some aftershocks, I'm sure, for the next few days after that.
Yeah, definitely.
But we had a 7.1 is what it was. And the big one that hit in 1964 on Good Friday, that was a 9.1.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, it was
something's going on. I mean, I don't know if they're fracking over there or if they're just jolting it.
Well, right here,
what could be the reason?
They're fracking Anchor Point. They're fracking out here in Nikiski, where I am. I'm about 50 miles north of Anchor Point is where I live in Nikiski.
Okay.
There's a big plant here, and then there's about 17 rigs out in the inlet that we can see from shore. They've been there since the mid-'60s. So they pulled
Oh
a lot
gosh,
of oil out
that's
of
why
it.
these are all right onshore.
They pulled a lot of oil out of there in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and now they're working more natural gas. They're still getting oil, but they're definitely fracking this whole area. So it's not a good deal.
I bet that's got a lot to do with it.
A lot of what woke me up to geoengineering and what's going on with our planet started with me looking into the destruction that the oil companies did to this area. I moved here 20 years ago, and I now have a family and a business. This is my home. I came across some stuff and found how badly this area was treated by companies like Chevron and Tesoro and Unical, and the people that were in on it with them and helping companies like that. And I dug deep, and people were telling me, Steve, you can't do this, but we sell a great product at Charlie's Pizza, and it doesn't hurt my business to fight this stuff. So I was fighting against these people trying to expose what they did to our water here in this area back in the 60s and 70s. And I finally had to give up. My community wouldn't stand behind me. Some of them did, but not enough. And I had to give up on the water fight here, fighting to prove who done it. But it opened my eyes to how powerful our governments are, our Department of Law here in Alaska, and how they can just squash you like a bug and say, tough, you can't do anything about this.
Oh, yeah.
So it made me see how bad these people are, and then that's about the time I officially woke up to what was happening in the sky. And then it's the rabbit holes, and I don't like to go down too many rabbit holes. I see what's happening, and I'd rather just, I tell people, how much do you really want to know? How much do you need to know? It gets a little bit too intense when you start looking down all the rabbit holes. So all I know is it's a bad deal, and people can take it where they want once they get started. But right now, I'm pretty much sticking to what's happening in the sky and what's happening with our weather and what's happening to our oceans is all created, or not created by, but geoengineering, climate engineering is the biggest factor in what's happening by far.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do like to tell people that there's other reasons. Sure, there's other reasons things are the way they are, but
that's major, because we can change our food, but we have to breathe. And they're destroying our water. But I'm looking at where all these earthquakes are, and this is all just offshore. It's north. Let me see. It's west of Anchor Point in the Camustic Bay, and almost all of these earthquakes are in one spot. So I'm assuming that they've got an operation going on right there.
Oh, I would imagine, yes.
Like it's literally on the just literally on the beach, the coast area. It's over land, it's not over the ocean. Well, there's a storm cell right there too right now. Right now, over the water, there's rain, and then there's snow inland.
Well, that area,
but this is where all these earthquakes are.
Right where that earthquake was centered that you're looking at right now, that area has been getting more rain than I can't even imagine how much rain they get. I don't know actual reports, but I've been watching it for 2 years, and all of the rain gets focused on that area.
Wow.
Massive amounts of rain constantly are just being driven directly into that area where that earthquake happened. It's been doing that for a couple of years now. We got storms going over us. These big storms go over the Kenai Peninsula here. We get nothing. Absolutely nothing out of it.
Wow.
But yet certain areas just get inundated. So, it just amazes me how many storms go over us. We have no snow here. I mean, I usually have snow up to my neck. This was the first 10 years that I lived here, through the mid-'90s. And we had lots and lots of snow and cold weather. It hasn't even been below zero here this year. I think maybe one day we got down to 2 below zero. Normally in the winter here, all through the 90s when I lived here and into the early 2000s, we were reaching 25, 30 below, maybe even colder. And some of those spells would last for 2 or 3 weeks. And in the last 3 years, we've only dipped below zero a couple times. So things are radically changing with this. there's hardly any snow cover, so that the roots of these trees in our forests, when it does get cold, they don't have the protection that they normally have. The underbrush, it's just you can see through our forests now. You know, even in the winter, spruce trees now, you can see them really good in the winter. They're just ghosts. They look like they're holding about 30% of the needles that they should be holding. They're just, that you can see right through them. And it's frightening to me. And I pointed out to people, a lot of people blame it on beetles, but I also burn this wood, so I cut these trees down and there's no beetles in them. These trees are dying from whatever they're taking up from the soil, from the rain. The rain, they get rained on it, they suck up the aluminum, whatever they suck up, and it's killing them.
Well, I'll tell you, as someone who can smell and taste this, I have been amazed that the planet has continued this long, because sometimes I can't breathe the air. In fact, last night we had 2 hits. One was around 4:15 or something. A plume hit us at ground level about 4:15, and I literally couldn't breathe the air. I mean, it smelled like I had my head in a bucket of model cement glue. That's what the most common type they spray now smells like to me. It smells like model cement glue. That kind of like acetone. It's more like toluene, I believe. So I mean, it's just amazed me that that things have held up this long under the kind of intense attacks that we receive. And by the way, do you know, Kim? Are any of you who are on the phone right now? Are you able to see the live stream? Because to me, it just says 11 watching. I don't get any live stream video from this at all. Anything? Anybody?
No live stream. It says 11 watching, but it says this event does not have any posts yet.
Yeah, that's all I'm getting.
I'm not getting that. I'm getting I'm getting main show, and I'm getting a video of Steve's video of his activism video in the restaurant, and broadcast ended. So I'm seeing a live stream right now.
Well, actually, that video that you're seeing, I played probably 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
That's 10 minutes old, so I don't know. It must be looping something.
Yeah, it's got to be, because it's showing it as live now.
That's really this.
I believe.
I'm going to have to find another solution, I guess, because I just have had nothing but problems this year. It's too bad, because for the first couple of years, live stream was great, rock solid, and I don't know what's happened, but I'll have to do a little research and try to get this straightened out.
For the last 2 weeks, I have sent out emails to about a dozen of my activist friends on Mondays, reminding them of your show. So they're trying to get more people to tune in and call in and be a part of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been wanting to cover a lot of deeper material. I haven't been able to prepare like I wanted to. In fact, I didn't even eat until just before the show started. I was having severe sugar low, but I had meeting after meeting and client stuff I was trying to take care of today, and it's amazing how on Mondays I try to prepare for the show, and it's like there's just no way. Mondays are always crazy, and it just makes it very difficult to prepare. So, but I would, anybody who ever
Keep
wants to.
Keep working on it. I'm gonna go to hockey practice again with the kids. I'm gonna head over there and check them out, and I'll check in next week.
Good. I look forward to hearing from you.
I'll be listening.
I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for keeping us up to date on what's going up in the great state of Alaska. And
welcome.
Thank you. Stay safe up there.
I will. Thank you, Russ.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Kim.
Bye, Steve.
So, Kim, how are you? And we'll get to anyone else who wants to talk to on the phone here, too. But, Kim, how's it going? What's going on with you?
I was curious about what's been going on with the snow, because we've been having 20-degree temperatures for quite a while. I mean, we had got a pretty significant amount of snow, quite a bit more than expected. It looked like 2 feet, but I don't really know how much it was. But I was wondering what it was going to do this year, because when I went out there and I started kicking it around, it didn't feel natural at all. It felt like snow, but with something added to it. And I was thinking, well, I'm going to pay attention, because I knew, that the temperatures are going to be below freezing for quite a while. And then I knew we were going to get a warm-up, so I was deciding I'm going to measure the snow, see if we lose any at all. Because generally, if it's below freezing by at least 10 degrees, you're not losing any snowpack. The reason I know this is because I worked at a ski place for quite a few years, and we literally had to count our snowpack, and we tried to plan ahead of time, and we made artificial snow before the guests arrived, before we opened, and then we'd spray again later on that night. And, so we could basically measure the time of day, hours of sunlight, how much projected snow we might lose, how much the night crew would have to work to keep the pack down for the skiers. So this is like way more information than anybody really needed, but just so you know, when it comes to knowing what snow should look like and feel like and how soon it should melt, I'm right on it. What I've observed was, by the time 5 days had gone by, the temperature finally went to at least freezing and above. And before it reached freezing, we lost nearly half of the snowpack, which to me makes no sense whatsoever. And if anybody can give me any scientific information on snow melting and time and process, I would love to have you send me a private message or whatever. But I observed this before, where I'm going to exaggerate a little bit. If we have 3 feet of snow and it's below freezing, in fact, it's closer to 10 degrees to zero, for 7 days straight, you would expect to most likely not lose much snow. You would expect to see things at about the same level. And then when you get warm weather, you know there's going to be melting or rain or anything. You're going to count wind into effect. Did the snow just blow away, or, what exactly is going on? And what I'm learning is something's happening. The snow isn't officially melting due to temperature, which is the common cause for snow going away. The snow is leaving by some other means, and I don't know what that means is.
Kim, can I chime in for just a second? I've got to step away from the microphone. I have an issue came up that I got to deal with here. I know we're being very informal tonight. I know there's a few other people on the phone call, so if you want to chat with any of them, go ahead. And I want to remind everybody that if you want to come and check out our times or archive of shows, go to globalskywatch.com/live, L-I-V-E, all small letters. And you can check out past shows, future shows, and all kinds of stuff that's going on. So I'm going to step away from the mic. I apologize for that, but I'm going to come back in a few minutes and consider this your debut, Kim. It's all yours. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Don't mean to throw this on you, but I think we've been meaning to do this for a long time anyway. So.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah. Is everyone's mics unmuted? Do you know?
Everyone's mic is unmuted, so anyone can speak up if you want to call on anybody. And the live stream, I have no idea what's going on live stream because I get nothing but 13 people watching now. And it says the event doesn't have any posts. So live stream is broken, and I'm going to have to find another solution or something, or call them and find out what's going on. So it's all yours for a few minutes, Kim. I'll be back in a minute, or in a few minutes, and we'll pick it up. I do want to just mention that when I come back, I do want to chat. We're going to probably try to cut this off at 11 o'clock tonight, so we got 30 minutes. But what I want to do is talk about getting people together to call their local governments. I know a lot of people, I think, are afraid to do that. They have intimidation factor, and what I want to do is form groups of people that will work in groups together and make group calls. And I want to have some training sessions where we get together and say, what do you say, what don't you say, so you feel comfortable. And then we could have conferences where one person will talk, but a bunch of people will be on the line and listening live and get a feel for how you do this. I believe calling local officials is very, very important. I know some people say it's not going to change anything, and I agree. In the big scope, it's not going to bring the house of cards tumbling down, but it is a crack in the dam, as Dane often says. It is.
Yeah.
If we can get our local officials on board and understand that they are getting sprayed too, this is coming down on them, and they are responsible. Willful blindness is a legal term if they turn a blind eye towards this, and they do have some liability. I don't know what it is. Totally, we have to look into the law. But nevertheless, I do want to talk about that. I also want to talk about getting programmers. I want to start building some sophisticated functionality on the web so that we can coordinate our efforts. I think the time is now. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I try to do it myself, but I just can't find the time to do it because my life itself is so terribly busy, as I said a few minutes ago. So if you're a web programmer, web designer, and you'd like to help out, contact me at russ@globalskywatch.com if you want to be involved in that. or if you want to be involved in a group of people who will start organizing and strategizing telephone calls to local officials to very professionally and very effectively educate them. So I'll talk about that when I get back. We'll try to cut off about 11 o'clock tonight, but thank you, Kim, for taking over for me. I'll be back in just a few minutes, so have fun.
Okay, we'll see you when you get back, Ron.
All right, very good. It's all yours.
Okay, so we just get done talking to Steve from Alaska, and to recap, he was sharing a little bit about some of the different activists and things that he does. He has a small business, and it's a pizza place. So he's basically writing messages or putting flyers, inserts in his packages for pizza to go. He has a wall of awareness where he's got some things posted up on corkboard, and I believe there's also a dry erase board as well. So it's one way for people to just kind of any opportunity that you see that you think you can share some information. It's a really great thing to do, especially if you're someone that works for the public a lot. If you guys hear little beeping noises, that's because what I'm using to call into the show, I'm getting Facebook alerts. So if you hear a beeping noise, I'm also watching the Global Skywatch Facebook group. I do admin over there with a few other activists that are very involved in this cause, and just trying to make sure everybody has an opportunity to, try to get informed, but also have a little bit of a platform to chat and stuff like that. So can I get a quick hand raise from everybody that wants to just say maybe their first name and what state they're in? Would you guys be willing to do that?
Yeah, hi, Kim. This is Ed. I'm calling in from Ottawa, Canada.
Hi, Ed. Welcome. Thank you for calling. Is there anybody else here? Or did they all go?
Maybe it's just you and me.
It could be. Welcome, Ed. Thanks for calling. So what do you have that is a burning question or a burning thought?
I'm just, I did a fair bit. I did some activism, and I organized a couple of protests, like a couple of years ago, and it's just, I live in a small community, like north of the city, and the kickback is kind of, you're kind of, you get kind of, I end up being like the chemtrail guy,
Yep.
So, it's, you gotta be able to focus and, be serious and people have to be able to see you as being serious. Like, that's in my experience. Like, I'm trying to not to be. I found I have to be careful what I say. I don't want to sort of like you can paint yourself into a corner because people want to sort of in a way not pick on you, but kind of.
Well, they like to tease.
Yeah, they like to tease, but it's not on TV, so they don't really want to believe that it's real, it's kind of freaky. Like it's kind of a bit of an activist community that I'm in, and we had like the last big thing I remember was people sort of protesting the highway, the four-lane highway that was going to go through, and they didn't like the blasting of the mountain, and people are concerned about the local spring, and these are important issues in some regards, but it's like they're like to me the chemtrail thing is really serious, and really quite apparent, and nobody really wants to. I found the amount that really is not a tough one, to get people on board, and it's just kind of it's affected me a little bit, like in the way that I sort of see others, you know. Like I feel kind of alone. Like not that I feel alone, but I feel kind of like you know, like a humanity, or you know, like our hope for the future. It just doesn't look too super promising, you know. Like it's hard to be activist in that way, you know, to find allies, and you know, you have this kind of hope that, you know, we can see positive change in our environment, right? You know,
it makes it really tough. Yeah, and that's what I like about having like two places we can go, because we can go to, because not like we have a lot of people that are really excited about everything, you know, that you and I are talking about right now, Ed. And some of them don't have Facebook, but they have email, so we can share info there, or they can get to a computer when they can. And then there's the home site, the globalskywatch.com home site, and then there's our forums there. So there's all these different discussions and different topics, and so people can talk there, and then we can do calling in like we're calling and we're talking to each other. So, you know, it's opening up. I think that more people are finally becoming aware, but unfortunately they're far and few in between, like you were saying, and it kind of feels good to connect once in a while with people, you know, verbally, like, hey, you know, I hear you, and get a chance to get that off your chest and get a chance to listen, too. Because sometimes that's what I like to do. I just like to just sit there and because I join a lot of live conferences. I try to get at least 2 a week, and sometimes I'm just so right out straight, and I really can't participate, but I still want to hear what everyone's saying. So I'll just call in, and I'll just mute my microphone so that I can do whatever it is I'm doing. It could be cooking, it could be, you know, dealing with my family, and, you know, whatever. But I'm hearing the broadcast. I'm listening to everybody. I'm hearing their ideas. I'm hearing their passion, and it's empowering me. I feel like it's helping me want to hang on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was really enjoying the broadcast. Like, you know, when Russ first started with them, it was really fun, you know. And I know everybody's really busy, and it's been a couple of years, and you know, and it's like the Facebook group is great, you know, because it keeps growing.
Oh yes.
And you know, I you work so hard at all this stuff, you know, because I kind of see. I get glimpses of what you're doing, and I know you're involved with the group and stuff, you know, and it's pretty impressive, you know, that you're so dedicated to being involved. You know, I found it really hard to dedicate a lot of time to it, you know, but you know, I've enjoyed different things. You know, I've made T-shirts, and
that's beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. The T-shirts were fun. I made the T-shirts for the protest I did, and
what did you use for your letters? Did you use T-shirt paint? Did you use marker? Were they printed right out of place?
Well, I have experience doing like silkscreen stuff.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I did stuff. You know, like printed stuff up on acetate, and then. Like photographically kind of burn the stuff into a photo emulsion that's on the screen, you know. It's kind of like, you can get that for like the art store stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, Ed, on our main site, we have a special area set aside for anybody that's able to have creativity and has a product that they'd like to add. It's our member store. So if you were in a position to make several T-shirts, you could potentially sell that through globalskywatch.com if you're interested.
I guess. I mean, I kind of I made the screens, and
yep.
I kind of think of it I still have them, and I like to be available for to get people together before a protest or an event, and make T-shirts kind of thing, as a group. But yeah, I've just been working so hard personally at trying to create my own space and place where I can do this kind of stuff, and it's really harder than I thought it would be, so it'd be nice to have the extra money and the space, and I think it's important to have the physical space to and some resources to sort of host some activism, But I think fundraising could be a really good one, I see other people doing GoFundMe stuff and different kind of fundraising things, and you would think there would be folks that would really be interested in financially kind of contributing to this kind of activism, eh? Have you come across those types of people?
Oh, definitely. And what we can do is if you have a certain skill that you're really good at, and you feel like this is something you can offer, it could be T-shirt ideas, it could be creating flyers and stuff. At the Network and Skill Sharing Center, you would actually be able to, at globalskywatch.com, you'd be able to just, write some comments and say whatever it is your skill is, and have people respond back to you and maybe come up with some ideas.
Yeah. It's a good way to network. I mean,
because we're going to be having a global protest in April, so we've got a few months to go. So if you have T-shirt ideas, maybe that would be your gift to the cause.
Do you know who organized it? Because I did a global protest 2 years ago, and I did one here in Ottawa, and we went to Parliament Hill and stuff, and it was funny because it was the same day as the Gay Pride Parade.
Oh yeah, they did have it the same day. You're right.
Was it the same? It was the same down where you guys were, eh?
Yeah, I think it was actually.
I guess it's the same everywhere.
Yep.
It was quite hilarious. So.
There was a lot going on that day.
Yeah, that was an interesting day for sure, and I'm in Ottawa, so it's the capital city for Canada,
Mhm.
And yeah, it's there's a bit of activism and different people, I have met a few good people, and it'd be so great to see some people in government being more involved,
I like your
I don't know
idea
how...
of doing. Sorry about that. What were you saying?
Oh, I just don't know how they're. I wonder sometimes how MP here we have members of Parliament, and down there I guess you have congressmen or something, or does that sound right?
Yes, we have Congress and Senate. Yep.
Yeah, we have a Senate, but our Senate doesn't have very much power, and we have the Parliament, and then, but you wonder, some topics are off limits,
We actually we do pretty good in New England because we did a lot of GMO protesting, and we were asking for them to pass a label law to label GMOs, and what we ended up doing is we were able to get it on the books, and then we knew the day that the state capitol was going to be reviewing our request, and so we went in that morning, and we literally walked in and shook hands and met all of our leaders. So you could look up, it's all public, you can look up who your district leader is, the town that you live in, and so on. And we did demonstrations all day outside our capital.
Yeah.
But I like your creative ideas about doing T-shirt making before events. I think that would be a great way for the community to come out. So like the week before the global event, Ed, you guys could create a separate event, which could say family activity, Saturday, noontime, so on. And you could have T-shirt making, you could have protest sign making, maybe some people could bring food or something like that. It would be a great way just to connect with the community and just let people know we're just having a meeting of like-minded people.
Find people, like, a lot of people are really, you know, like I'm probably not, you know, I mean, I'm not really, I mean, I would just say, well, some people are not particularly interested in being associated with sort of an out there sort of cause, but you know, like then again, like there are a lot of people that are interested, you know, and I guess it's just a matter of like trying to, you know, maybe like you say, like kind of make a few posters beforehand, and you know, get the word out so that you can get the people that are interested involved, you know, like that's kind of a tough one, you know. But it's so hard to organize for that stuff, like organizing those protests. It was like it took so much time because it's like you can't just do it in a day. It's like it's almost as if it takes like a month, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, we usually know ahead of time when they're going to do a global protest, so I think that's going to be helpful.
I know there's some resources. You know, when the global protest gets going, there's resources. Do you know who organizes those things? Because it's kind of like...
I do.
You involved in oh, you're involved with that?
I'm in pretty close with the one that organizes it. And what they do is they've got a Facebook page, and they've got an event page, and a .com. So what... I mean, he's pretty good about it. Like on the Facebook page, they'll list the date of the next protest, and then there'll be like a million links underneath that'll give you specific directions. So if you want to create an event for your town, you know, for where you live, you'll just create one, and you might have like yourself going or whatever, maybe just you and a friend, whatever, just something just to cover yourself that you've got something going on, and then they'll share it on their Facebook page, and they'll add you to the event list. So what's going to end up happening, Ed, is that when people start looking up, is there an event going on in this certain town, they'll pull you up, and then they can join it that way. So they're trying to network.
It's true. I mean, I did do that. When they first did it, like 2 years ago, I did do that, and it was good, you know. Like there's people that are interested, and you know, we have like there's a neat lady that was she's also involved in like the fluoride group, you know, the fluoridation free group around here.
Yeah.
She was there, and I met some interesting people, and I would love to keep the momentum going. It's just like it's like you could have a full-time job doing this kind of activism. You know, like at the time I was thinking to myself, you know, like that it would be neat to try and start like an activism sort of sort of like an organization, you know, but you need, like I realized after doing it for a little while, like you need to be paid for it. Like you need to have like people who donate, and you know, people need to be able to be paid to do the work, you know, because you just go bankrupt, you know, like you just can't. I can't pay for it all myself. But you know, I think I might try to do one this year. Did you say it's coming up in April?
Yes, there's going to be one in April. So if you create an event, even if it's just one person, they'll add it to their event list and their calendars. So it'll get exposure. So what'll happen?
Earth Day? Yeah.
Earth Day.
Do you remember what Earth Day is?
I believe it's also in April, but I'm not completely sure.
Yeah. When we did my first one, it was like I did like a sign making sort of thing at Earth Day at the community center. Because we have
That's
kind
wonderful.
of a thing. Yeah, no, it was fun. I did like a pancake. I did like a pancake thing. Like I was making like pancakes and I think I had coffee or something, and sort of like trying to. We had like a tent. I had like a tent set up outside the community center, and that had paints and signs and stuff. And a few people came, but it wasn't as well attended as I would have liked, But and we had a little booth inside too, and like because it was kind of like a sort of a boothy, we like the community center. Like we had different people set up for different things, like. And so I had a couple of friends there handing out flyers and talking about the like what it is, the chemtrail thing. It's so obvious up here. I don't know what it's like down there, but it's just so obvious, especially where I am. The military planes just fly back and forth dumping chemtrails.
It's really bad.
It's just so obvious.
Well, Ed, it's looking like it's about 10 minutes of 11, so I'm going to check just to see if there's anybody else that's called in. And I want to encourage you to create a Facebook event and just private message me if you don't find the global page. Because if you do need help, I'll help you find that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll private message you, we need to be in touch a little bit too, And where are you, in Northern California, or?
I'm in northern New England.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you were in California. Yeah, so you're not far from me.
Nope, not at all.
I'm in California.
Hello, who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Carmen.
Oh, hi, Carmen. Thanks for calling in. I'm glad you're able to get in.
Hi, yes.
So what's going on in your area?
Oh, my God. They're chemtrailing us constantly over here. I'm in the high desert in Southern California, and they're always spraying. It's very rare not to have a spray day anymore. It'll clear out, and then it'll clear out, and then they come back. And a lot of times they're doing it at night. So you wake up and it's all cloudy in the morning, and then it just goes away after a while, and then they come back and hit it again in the afternoon. It's a problem because in the desert, everybody, they're all going to solar energy, and their solar uptake is diminished by this cloud cover that they're manufacturing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we have the same situation like Dane has. He's totally off the grid, and, they spray over the top of him, and he can't get his uptake that he needs.
That's been a big concern as far as what are we going to do for power because of, I'm on weather maps and satellite maps every single day. Like from the time I wake up, I check my maps until the time I go to bed. And, the majority of the United States is under cloud cover. So much more that even using solar for power has been difficult for a lot of people. I know quite a few homes that rely on their little solar garden lights, and they either use them outside on their property or they'll bring them inside their homes or whatnot, just to save on their electric bill and stuff. But now it's looking like not only do we need to look at solar, we need to look at wind power and see if there's any possible affordable personal wind power sources that we could use just for our own homes. Because, when they literally spray the sun away, it's virtually impossible to really power those batteries up. My solar lights were lasting for 12 hours a day because they were getting a good 8 or 10 hours of solar charging during the day, and they would last them for 12 hours. But now I'll be lucky if we even get, even if possibly 4 hours. And by hour 6, they're just literally blinking. So we're going to have to really start being creative. And I think that's what Steve was talking about earlier, is trying to find some ways to be self-reliant.
Yeah, there's certain areas that are not prone to wind, though. And then I noticed that the normal storm patterns that we have, those have changed also. You know, we used to have storms up here in the desert that they would literally blow in at 70 miles an hour. And now you just wake up and it's there, and then it goes away, and it doesn't blow away, and it doesn't blow in. Once in a while it still does, but a lot of these are just manufactured, so we don't get that. You know, they're changing the air currents and the air pressure. So that makes it hard to even go to wind turbines. And then there's a permitting issue also, because, like, say I wanted to put a wind turbine on my property, I would have to get the permission of everybody around me that could see it or hear it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so it makes it impossible because nobody wants that. I'm surprised they allow as many cell towers as they do because of the EMF.
I saw that issue here in New England, because where I live now, it's a coastal community. I'm right about 45 miles from the coast, and you know, wind power and ocean power are a couple of ideas, but I think what's happening, Camden, is that whenever we come up with what we feel is an ingenious idea to use power to provide for our families, not with fossil, they come up with some crazy scam that they're going to come out and say, well, it's not cosmetically appropriate for the region or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, wait a minute. It's not pretty? Okay. So you know what I mean, Camden. They'll get people that will focus on that stupidity and, I hate to say this, ignorance, so that they can distract you from the real reason of why we want a wind turbine. Because, well, we want a wind turbine because it's our choice, and we don't feel like we need the community to approve it. I mean, but I think that's what we're facing, and I think that's what Russ was really hoping to really dig into, is what the elite are doing. Like, we get 2 steps forward, but then they come up with kind of a side drop kick to the side of your knee, like, wait a minute, no. We're going to come up with another way to distract people from the importance of what you're asking for.
Exactly. And I don't think people understand the concept of global dimming and what the consequences of that are. You know, they're saying they're shading the planet, and this is helping because of the global warming issue. And, you know, when you put clouds over the land, it keeps the warmth in.
Yeah, it's true.
So
it's counterproductive. We've been under a lot of heavy chemtrailing this fall up here in Canada. It's been something sort of interesting. Very.
Have you gone on the flight tracker program? There's a flight tracker program that you can look at the live flights, so that if you see a flight over your head, you can go online and look at it, and it'll tell you what it is, that it's, you know, U.S. Air originating from whatever airport to wherever it's going. I was watching the flight tracker, and I was outside, and they had a chemtrailer going right over the top of me, so I ran in to see if it showed, and it did. It was called NASA 1, and it went from the military base at Edwards down to March, and it went back and forth. You could see the tracks online, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth over the top of it. And so I was taking screenshots of it and posting it. Look at what NASA's doing. Do you know after that they stopped putting it on Flight Tracker? So all those military flights are no longer on there. You can't see them. So I'm wondering if you can still see them up in Canada.
Yeah, I haven't used Flight Tracker, and I mean, it'd be a great idea to check that out. And it just seems like so many of these planes are just flying around at like, around like probably 15,000 feet or something, and they're like unmarked planes. And
oh, they're way higher than that because of stratospheric spraying. They're way higher than that.
I think the planes that I'm seeing are pretty low.
Really?
Like below 20,000 feet.
Oh my goodness.
But like I'm pretty sure they have like two programs: the stratospheric program, and then the lower altitude program. Because like the stratosphere is pretty high, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get a little. I'm a little confused with that one because I hear a lot about the stratospheric geoengineering, and my impression is that that's a program where the particulate and stuff stays suspended for a long period of time, like maybe even up to a year, and then that
I haven't heard. I don't know how it would stay up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really high, and then but most of the stuff we see and we experience is more of a cloud seeding thing, you know. Because the clouds, the highest clouds are around like 20,000 feet or so, and then your puffier clouds are down around like between 2,000 and 6,000 feet. So they kind of start the cloud. They do like a kind of a starter up around like probably you would figure around 15,000, maybe even 10,000 feet, and the planes don't really seem that far. And
well, it's killing the planet. I don't see how they don't see what it's doing to our environment. I was just talking to my friend tonight about the bee die-off. They're actually Alzheimer's, like a insect form of Alzheimer's before they die. And the Alzheimer's rate in humans has increased exponentially. And they're saying, by another 20 or 30 years, half of us are going to have Alzheimer's and half of the children are going to be autistic. So something has got to be done about this. Unless they're just trying to kill us all off, which is entirely possible if the agenda is to reduce the population.
There is just so much happening all at once.
Yeah, between that and Fukushima and our dying Pacific Ocean, and oh my God.
I'm just looking at the Morocco area, which is northwest Africa, and I counted from 4.2 to 6.1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 earthquakes.
Yeah, and that's usually seismically very inactive. That's an anomaly.
Like, I've never seen a quake. And we're looking at, close to a dozen, and they're going, that's pretty moderate.
Well, the first one was... Yeah, the first one was in the Strait of Gibraltar, and the rest are aftershocks.
Okay. Oh, Salvador is up at 4.6. just off. I've been seeing a lot going on in New Zealand, and I'm wondering. I'm getting a 5.3 magnitude.
They are always seismically active in New Zealand. That's not unusual at all. I have a friend who moved from Christchurch on the South Island to Auckland on the North Island, and it just scared the crap out of her because she had 2 huge earthquakes in Christchurch. So she's like, "Oh my God, I'm getting out of here." So she moved to the North Island.
That I can understand.
Yeah, but they have plenty of their own earthquakes too. But that's all, that those islands were created from volcanoes and seismicity, so that's all normal. Same with the Pacific Ring of Fire. All this is normal. Not fun, but it's not unusual.
But I'm seeing like earthquakes where I don't normally see earthquakes, and then I'm seeing in the North America, in the United States, northern, I'm seeing twice to 3 times the amount of earthquakes, and it's gotten to the point that the fracking has damaged so much in Alberta, Canada, and that's where a lot of the quakes are coming from. They supposedly, officially decided to cease fracking operations in that region. So I don't know
why. Because the price of oil has gone down, that it costs more to bring the oil up right now than they can sell it for. So most of the fracking operations are closing down, or they're they're shutting down their operations and just keeping, like in North Dakota, only the Indians are allowed to bring their trucks in and help with the fracking. All the private operators that are up there, I have a friend that's up there, and he's got zero work. So he went from hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to zero inside of a month. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but those cause earthquakes all the time.
I believe it. And the thing is, once you start interfering too far with the Earth, you're going to start affecting, the Earth's magnetism. You're going to start affecting so many things. And, like Steve was saying earlier, he's seeing wildlife die-offs, bird die-offs. We're seeing marine die-offs. We're seeing so many species die-offs from animals, plants, aviation, birds. Just, ecosystems are literally collapsing. And a lot of it does have to do with geoengineering, but there's also the other part of how we're affecting the Earth. It's not just the aerosol programs. It's literally the ground, what you're literally doing to the Earth, whether you're digging for oil or methane or whatever it is. You're messing with an ancient planet that has had its sustainability due to certain circumstances and the ecosystems that support each other. And within all these ecosystems, you have all these small climates, and the smallest climate could be, you could consider a small climate the mosquitoes or the bugs that the birds eat, and what do the birds do, and how do they contribute, and everything's connected.
That's what's wrong with the large mammal die-off in the Pacific right now, is their food source. Same with the birds up in Alaska.
Yes,
that was
absolutely.
all because their food source was eliminated by the radiation from Fukushima. And they're still dumping every day thousands and thousands of gallons of radiated water. And then also the U.S. Navy is off the western Pacific coast in Northern California, and they're doing their war games, and they're using depleted uranium, which the half-life of depleted uranium is twice as long as the Earth has even been around. And that's just the half-life. It's going to be here on the planet unless God cleans it up.
Right.
It's going to ruin everything. And that's what's going on right now. And the Navy, they told the U.S. government that there was going to be massive mammal die-off from this, and that was just, collateral damage. And, of course, the news is not reporting about all the dead whales and dolphins and seals and sea lions and everything, but, they're all dying. Between the sonar exercises and the depleted uranium, they don't have a chance.
Well, there was a few protests and petitions that I had signed about the sonar testing, and it was proven that it was literally frying, marine mammals. I mean, marine life, and they did anyway. So I think the biggest reason for the elite hiding the massive, horrifying events happening is that they don't want to create public hysteria. Public hysteria is their biggest controlling string that they have wrapped around our neck, in that based on them wanting to provide us security and safety and comfort, they feel that they have to shield certain events from the general public to avoid mass hysteria. But what's changing is people do want to be informed. They want to know. They want to understand, why is it every time I take my family to the beach, harbor seal babies are literally laying there dying? They want to know.
Yeah.
They want to know. It's because the food that their parents provide the babies is so much further away that the parents have to go so much further out into the ocean to go get food and return back and swim back, that their babies are either starving or they're freezing cold, and the harbor sea rescue guys can only take in so many pups a day, and it's getting to a point
born week. They're being born week now, so
they are.
The mothers are abandoning them because they're not going to make it anyway.
But it's all connected. But the thing is,
it is.
They're not letting us see this. They're not sharing it in the mainstream media because they don't want to create a public, I would call it a public outcry.
It's all over YouTube, but I don't know how many people look at those stations on YouTube. But if you want to get the straight news, you need to get it on YouTube. You
do. Because the mainstream media is shielding us, saying, well, we feel that you don't need to know, and we feel that for your safety, we want to shield you from this. And the other reason is for security, for control over. They don't want civil disobedience, and they don't want civil discord, so they feel that they have to shield certain information. But, I know Russ has mentioned this many times, and I know Dane has also mentioned it, that if people truly knew exactly what was really going on, they would be outraged. Like, they would be out there, they would be standing in the street, they would be talking to their babysitter about it, they would be talking to their coworker, they would be just making sure everybody knew, I am pissed. Look at that. I know. I wanted to get some little signs made. You know how the realtors have little signs on the corner with arrows to point to their listings and everything? I'm a realtor, so I have, all the little signs and everything. And they're really cheap to get. So what I was thinking about doing, and we'd probably get to put them out a lot more often, is to just, get a whole bunch of them. Let's get our design together so it's national, and make these little signs and just put them out on the busy corners only when they're spraying, and say, look up. This is what they're doing, and then just put our website. I do that already, yep. Excellent idea. Also, another good time to during campaigning, because a lot of political campaigns, they put what seems like millions of yard signs with their, their name, the political person that they're trying to, and they have 7 days to come collect those. And if they don't collect those off the city property where they were granted permission to put them, then it's anyone's take. So you can go take them after 7 days.
Yeah.
I found that out the hard way. You know, because a lot of them, they're like, campaign's over, they're done. Like, they're not going out and go getting all those. They're not going to go collect them. I will.
Even, too, if we have little, like, you know, most towns and cities have chambers of commerce. And I've been active in both the chambers in my area. But they do speakers at many of their meetings. And, you know, there isn't any reason why we couldn't put our name down and say we want to speak to the group, and this is our subject, and then we can take questions. You know, just do a short presentation and take questions from the people. You know, the more people that are aware of it and they tell their friends and they tell their family, eventually this is going to get out. I can tell you that today, almost every one of my clients, when I'm out showing property, if it's a spray day, I get out of the car, my clients get out of the car, I look up and I go, God, they're doing it to us again. and, you know, years ago, nobody knew what the heck I was talking about. Now, I'd have to tell you, at least half the people know what I'm talking about now. That's good. I know, that's really, really good. In fact, I had one of my clients, he goes, oh, my God, don't get me started, Carmen.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
well, thank you for doing that, and I really appreciate that you're caring so much about this, and you're being creative, and you're looking at ways to, you know, try to get more people on board. That's just amazing.
Well, it's hard, and it's discouraging at times, because you think, you know, I listen to Dane every week, and I think, oh my God, the tenacity of this man, you know, and Russ. They just hang in there and hang in there and hang in there, you know, because sometimes it just gets so discouraging, especially when people think, you know, especially I have no credibility with my friends. I have more credibility with people that I don't know, which is ridiculous, but, you know, they always know more than you know. You know, they call me a conspiracy theorist and all that. I'm like, don't believe me. Look it up. Do the research. Go to these websites. Google it. Watch the YouTube videos, you know. It is really happening, whether you want to stick your head in the sand or not. You know, I'm just trying to let you know what's going on, because you're breathing this, your kids are breathing this, your dog out in the backyard is breathing this. And pretty soon we're not going to be able to grow anything. You know, right now we have a problem with the bee die-off. Well, what do you do when we have no pollinators?
Yeah.
And the water's poison and the ground's poison. Everything is not going to grow. That's our food source.
But see, they've thought of something else. Now they have mechanically designed pollinators. That's what their next step is. They are trying to answer that by creating supposedly robotic devices that can pollinate.
Oh, my God.
So it's like one thing after another. So our skies are loaded with aluminum. So then Monsanto goes ahead and gets an aluminum seed patent so that it's aluminum resistant, so it can continue to grow in toxified soil. Like, they have an answer for everything. I think that's why, you know, people that are creative, that are interested in taking any opportunity that they can to get as many people to reach critical mass awareness is going to be the key to success to end the aerosol program.
I agree. So how do we do that? I think we need to point to one central place. You know, if you go on Facebook, there's a gajillion groups, and that's all good. You know, I have one, and I've got like 600 and something people on it. But what we need to do is point everybody to a main group and get them on those pages so that, you know, we can have a national message at the very least. Because, you know, we're still a powerful country. Whatever we do, everybody else kind of follows right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we can stop the program here, then the other countries are going to be more successful. But I think it's really important, rather than to have a bunch of little groups, to have one big giant group.
Yeah, well,
You know.
I mean, there's a Global Skywatch, and it works well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a large group.
Watch.
But it's Russ is really he puts a lot of work into that, you know, and you can't
He
in
does.
a way you can't really
He
expect
does.
him to run everything, you know. But he's
Well,
such a
that's
great,
just it, is we have to find a way to support the people like Dane and Russ that have put their entire lives on hold to do this.
mm-hmm.
You know, we have to support them so that they can continue doing this. So I think that's something maybe we need to talk about the next time we get together.
Yes,
it's kind of like the
absolutely.
whole-
Yeah,
the
we've
whole-
got to
the whole
raise
camp-
some money so that we can get more advertising time, more radio time.
Yeah, it's hard to find the interests, you know, like who benefits from not having chemtrails, you know, and like it's such a corporate thing. Had to have the chemtrails. It's like such a corporate thing to, you know, control everything and be able to, you know, make money off of scarcity, or, you know, that they can kill the natural world and create replacements that they charge people for. You know, it's like that's money, but it doesn't really benefit individuals. You know.
No, but they don't care about us as individuals.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
And the thing,
No,
and
yeah,
that's your
But they
strength,
would
though.
if there were, 50 million people marching into Washington, D.C.
Right. But that's
You know,
what I
they
like
would.
about the individual groups. Like we were talking about having one large group and then having individual groups. What I like about all these small groups is with Global Skywatch Facebook group, a lot of people will come in curious, and they just might leave as soon as they come in, but others might just watch, listen, learn. And sometimes you have those that are interested, but they want to do things a little differently, and they'll create their own side groups. But we can all come together if we want to.
Yeah, that's what we need
in
to
this
do.
large group. Plus, we have our event organizer, which is the Global March Against Chemtrails and Geoengineering. And they'll list everybody's events. Like when I listed a small event like 3 years ago, and they found me out. Like they literally private messaged me, "Hey, we see that you have an event plan. Would you like to, have us list you on our event page?" I was like, "Absolutely, please." So I mean, we're networking, and I think it's we're gaining on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mean to put down the small groups or anything, but we all need to have our small group be also part of a larger group.
Yes.
So that we can get this done. Otherwise, we're just talking to ourselves.
Exactly.
Preaching to the choir, as they say.
So have the small groups just for our town or our community or whatever, and then put that in with the larger group, because if we do that, then anyone that wants to search your area could find you that way.
Absolutely.
That's what I like.
We can educate our own people.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a good idea. And then fundraising is super important, because Russ and Dane, they have to eat, and they have to have a budget. We need to get those billboards up everywhere. Could you imagine the impact we'd have if we had those billboards on all the major interstates?
For sure.
That would be huge. So I think that's something we should think about is, doing a national fundraiser so that we can get these billboards up all around. It's I live near Interstate 15, and you can't imagine everybody from the entire Southland, San Diego County, Orange County, San Bernardino, Riverside, LA, they all go up that freeway to Las Vegas all the time. That's where we need to have a billboard. And near the major airports. That's where, wherever the people congregate, that's where we need to have them. You know, and it costs money to put up those billboards every month, you know, so we need a budget for that. So I think our small groups would be really good, you know, to build them up and do fundraisers, you know, 3 or 4 times a year so that we can send money to Russ and Dane so that they can keep going and we can get our message out to more than just a small audience. We need to get it out because we don't have much time. They're killing everything. We'll be lucky if we're still around in 10 or 20 years the way they're going at it.
So well, on the Global Skywatch homepage, we have some things set up that might answer that call to action. There's some activists that are calling for donations for specific things that they're doing, and so you can literally look the list up and you can donate to an activist. You know, it might be in your area, it might not be, but you know, like some people could be physically disabled and they can't get out and literally go in the field and hold signs and, you know, you name it. But they might have some funds that they might want to donate, let's say $50 towards transportation for someone that's out there saying, hey, I have a group of activists. We're willing to go march. We've got signs. We've got everything. But we just don't have the gas to get there. So someone might want to donate just for transportation or, you know, different things.
Yeah.
Or if you're someone that can print, you know, can actually print flyers, you might offer, hey, I see you guys got an event going on. I'm sorry I can't make it, but if you need flyers, I can get flyers. I can help you guys do this. So that's our skill to offer area. And then there's also the donations area, too. So you can donate to an activist if you want to.
And we could hit up some of the big environmentalists, too, that are vocal.
Definitely.
You know, what's his name that owns Virgin? Oh, what's his name? Doggone it. Help me out here. He has his own island, and he rescues wild animals and species that are going to be extinct. Ah, God, I can't think of
I know who you're talking about, but the name slips my tongue.
He built a rocket ship to take people to the moon. Yeah. He is a total environmentalist. You know, we need to get in front of somebody like that has the money and the power to do something about this.
An entrepreneur, someone that's interested. Yes, absolutely. Well, hey, guys, it's about 11:27 Eastern Standard Time. We've gone about 30 minutes past our expected time. I do want to thank everybody who's called in and hung in there with us. I can give you guys a chance to offer any of your final words. Ed, did you have anything that you wanted to say before leaving our broadcast tonight?
You know, my thoughts about the activism have been that, you know, I myself am thinking of trying to focus on, like, more political action and, like having a political action group. And
excellent idea.
You know, and, and then after I had done the protests, I have thought more about, like, doing, like, street theater sort of thing, like sort of like performance art kind of thing, because having a protest is really tricky. Here I have to take out permits, like I have to take out permits with the government and stuff to have a protest.
Yeah. And, they don't mind, though.
No. You know, I just I heard about like
sometimes they want you to pay for the extra police that they feel they might need.
Well, they want you to, you're the guy. Like when the last time I did a protest at Parliament Hill, I get the call from the federal police, and they're like, we're opening a file on you, and it's a little intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess it's okay, but I remember hearing about like the NRA. And I don't think they've never held a protest. They just focused on political action.
Yeah. Smart.
Well, Ed, if you have any suggestions, for some things we could chat about in our next meeting, please feel free to go to the pinned post at Chemtrails Global Skywatch Facebook page and offer any ideas of things that you might want to talk about, so we could maybe start looking into that for next week.
Yeah, I mean, I know Russ was talking about like the idea of like communicating with local politicians and stuff, and before he he left the conversation. So that kind of got me thinking about that too.
Oh,
yeah,
Sir Richard Branson.
Yeah, Richard Branson. Yeah, he's very good. He's a really colorful guy, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like him more than Elon Musk.
Yeah, I think he'd be really good to help us. We need to convert that guy. I'll call him.
Well, thanks, Ed. I hope that you'll join us next week.
Yeah, it was really fun meeting Carmen, too.
Yes, absolutely.
You.
It's Carmen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, they're down there in the desert, I guess. Is it the desert like where you are?
Yes, it's a high desert. Actually, I'm very close to Wrightwood. I'm right almost on the San Andreas Fault.
Well, we try to at least have a notice up by at least 7 o'clock on Monday. So if you guys want to just check to see, because we're kind of playing it by ear on availability for broadcast. So if you just kind of check in Facebook sometime between 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you'll see if we're going to actually have a broadcast. Because a lot of life is changing, and we're trying to keep up with it as well as stay active. But just check in between 7 and 8 or whatever, and see if we're doing a broadcast, and hopefully we can have you come back. Carmen, were there any final words that you might have to ask for anyone that's listening right now that could share what you're feeling, what you need to have done?
No, I think I covered everything for today. I did want to mention, though, that you do have the ability to give alerts on the cell phone, because I get a cell phone reminder whenever you're broadcasting, but I also get them when you're not. So that kind of needs to be fixed, because like last Monday I raised home and got on there and there was nothing going on.
Okay.
And I had gotten the regular alert on my cell phone. So you might want to fix that so that we're actually on the air when we get that.
Okay.
Because it's really nice to get that reminder. It comes in, I think, about a half hour, an hour before we go live. But I think that's really good if we can get other people to sign up to get the alert, because, we're all busy and we forget.
That's cool, yeah, because if I don't have my alerts, because I do a couple other shows that I listen in, sometimes I call in, but if I don't get those alerts, I'll just be like, ooh, I forgot. So, yes.
Can you email me the other shows?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. My email is myrealtorcarmen@gmail.com.
Gotcha.
Cool. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, talk to you guys next week then.
Okay, folks, I'm glad that you joined us, and please, stay up to date if you can at globalskywatch.com or Chemtrails Global Skywatch Facebook page. We will try to have a pinned post within 2 hours of the airtime if it's going to air, and if it isn't, you'll be notified. And I will check into the mobile alerts for the broadcast to see if we can make sure that that stays as accurate as possible. Listen, guys, thanks so much for hanging in there during all the technical difficulties. It was a little bit frustrating, but hey, we made it. We got to share a lot of good ideas, a lot of brainstorming, and I'm just so thankful that I was able to listen to each and every one of you and share some amazing ideas and some same passion for something that's really important. And we will hopefully see you next week. If you have any questions, look for me on Facebook at Global Skywatch, Chemtrails Global Skywatch, Kim Berry.
Kim Bailey?
Berry, like a strawberry.
Okay. All right. I'll send you a friend request.
Yeah.
Ed, are you on Facebook also?
I sure am. Yeah, Ed Hutchison. Yeah, I have a group, an Ottawa group, an Ottawa chemtrail group too. So you can search it up.
Okay, I'll join your group. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, you should. Okay.
And so I'm on quite a bit, so because I'm watching over Global Skywatch during the day. So a lot of, if you see something concerning, report it. If you think it's bad, if you feel like it's urgent, private message me. I check messages at least every 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. Okay, great.
Well, have a good night and God bless.
Thank you. God bless you too. Bye, Ed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Good night.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello? Hello, hello? Hello, check, 1, 2. Kim, you there? Check, 1, 2. Okay. You guys can hear me. Somebody's still on. I guess I'll end the call. Thank you. And we'll stop streaming. Tell me people are still stream. I don't even know. All right, good night, everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't come back in time. I was so busy today. But hopefully we'll do this again next week. We'll start getting into some deep information. I'm anxious to hear what Kim talked with everyone about. Have a good night. This is globalskywatch.com. Go to globalskywatch.com/live for our schedule and archive of shows. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.